Hey, and welcome back to another video. It is your Lifestylist K, your secure woman mentor. And today I want to talk about stepping into your feminine power. The reason I wanted to talk about stepping into your feminine power is because when it comes to toxic relationships, they dim your light, right? They make you shrink, they make you question yourself, which in turn makes you forget your own power, your own ability to be great without the toxicity. So today I want to flip the script and really dive into how we can step into our feminine power. One thing to understand is that you don't have to stay in survival mode. You're allowed to thrive, you're allowed to take up space and fully own your presence, fully own the moment. So let's dive into how to step into our feminine power.
Day in, day out, believe in strangers for help. Don't dwell upon this thought right now.
And so first things first is, what is feminine power and how do we lose it? One thing to understand about feminine energy is that it's not about a gender, it's about an energy. The same with masculine. Feminine and masculine energy is not about a gender, it's about an energy. True feminine power is magnetic, right? It's attracting instead of chasing. It's also emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is about owning your emotions without losing control. Feminine power is deep intuition, and deep intuition is about trusting your own knowing. As we enter into the age of Aquarius, or as we're in the age of Aquarius, it's about your own knowing, despite what's going on around you. Harness that feminine energy and dive into your deep intuition. And feminine power is about receptivity, allowing yourself to accept love, abundance, and success. All of these things wrapped together equals or exudes your feminine energy. Now that we know what feminine energy is, why does toxic relationships steal or take your feminine energy from you, your feminine power? The thing about toxic relationships is that it takes from what your feminine energy is because it teaches you to overthink, to overcare, to overgive, and to not lean onto your own knowing. And it wants you to overthink and overgive and overcare and overdo in order to be chosen. So if you think about it, all the things that I've just said about your feminine energy exudes you knowing. But when toxicity enters the room, it's telling you you don't know what you're talking about. So overcare about what I have going on, overgive to me, overthink about what I'm saying so that I could choose you. Because if you don't do these things, I won't choose you. And someone that lacks their feminine energy will give into that, will want to be chosen and start to jump through hoops just to be chosen. Also, toxic relationships take from your feminine power by making you feel small, making you feel unworthy, and making you feel disconnected from yourself. I don't know about you, but have you ever been in any type of situation, relationship, whatever, to where you just felt like everything that you said or did was always picked apart or wrong? That's how someone makes you feel small, unworthy, and it also keeps you from connecting with yourself because you feel like nothing that you do is working. One thing about toxic relationships as it pertains to feminine power is that toxic relationships trap you in your masculine energy. It keeps you in survival mode. It keeps you controlled. And when you are in that mode, you tend to be hyper independent. So we have to make sure that we are walking in our feminine energy and be aware of the things that do not connect with us. And if they don't connect with us, we have to make sure that we're taking up for ourselves in that space. And one thing to understand when it comes to toxic relationship and stepping into your feminine energy, feminine power, is to realize that your power was never lost. It was just buried under survival mode this whole time. You allowed a toxic entity to come into your space and bury you with negative self talk, bury you with unhealthy masculine energy, bury you with all of these things to make you feel like you were not enough. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know that the only person that isn't enough is the person that's coming in to a situation telling someone else that they aren't enough. Never allow someone outside of you tell you who you are. Now, how do you reclaim your confidence and magnetism? How do you do that when you've been in this space of survival mode for so long? Number one is that you shift from chasing to attracting. But in order to do that, you have to stop chasing. You have to stop feeling like you need a person in order to become. Because one thing about toxic patterns is that it teaches you to chase validation. And so instead of chasing validation, embrace your magnetism, your magnetic energy. Focus on self care, self love. Focus on yourself and not external approval. And that's how you start to attract and not chase the validation because your focus changed to yourself. Now, what is magnetism? It's just your ability to charm or attract people with your charm, with you just being you. And the one thing to understand is when you know your worth, you don't have to convince anyone to see it. You're not chasing anyone down to see your worth when you know it and you value you. Step two is to heal and honor your feminine energy. And how do we heal and honor our feminine energy? Number one, you practice softness and receptivity by allowing yourself to accept compliments, love, help. Don't turn it away. Allow yourself to get that help. If someone is helping you, say, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that." Because if you know, like I know you, a lot of times you're probably saying, "Oh, I got it. I got it." No, let them help. Accept it. Be receptive to help, to love, right? To compliments. Move from control to flow. Release the need to micromanage everything. Sometimes you over control and you just don't let things flow. If you want to step into your feminine energy, sometimes you just have to go with the flow. It's okay. Another way to tap into your feminine energy is to reignite pleasures and joy. Dance, be creative, do the things that you love to do. If you want to twerk in your living room while listening to some music, do that. It is okay. It's releasing that energy, is allowing you to indulge in the pleasures and joys of life. Laugh, enjoy friends and family, connect with your body. That is what that's about. Dancing, being in the flow, having fun, enjoying, allowing your body to feel the pleasures and joys of life. One thing to understand is that you do not have to prove your worth through struggle. Your presence is enough. So, if you are in a situation with someone and they're always asking you to do in order to feel chosen or to be chosen or to be the one, say no. And when you say no, they will really truly show you who they are. You do not have to prove your worth through struggle or always doing. Your presence is enough. Who you are is enough. The next step would be to strengthen your intuition. Our intuition, it will never steer us wrong. Never. Never. Because toxic relationships disconnect you from your inner voice. And I know when you're disconnected from your inner voice because you struggle internally, right? Like, but that's not how I feel, but this is what they're saying. So I'm just going to go with what they're saying. Listen, don't allow people to dim your light and turn off your inner voice, your inner knowing. Example, there was one time when I was not listening to myself and I was listening to other people and it did not feel right to me. And the moment that I shut them out, all of my thoughts, all of what I knew I needed to do came rushing in. And I did it. Your inner self, your inner voice never stops communicating with you. It's just having a hard time getting to you. So once you let go of the toxicity, it's like a rush of information. So if you know that you are shutting off that inner voice, you need to shut out the people who are speaking louder than your internal voice. Now, ways to build your intuition is do daily check ins. Ask yourself, how do you feel? Ask yourself, what do you think about a thing when someone else is probably telling you to do this? Ask your inner self, what do you feel like we need to do? There's nothing wrong with having those come to me moments. That's what I like to call them, come to me moments. Be aware of your body awareness. How am I feeling in this moment? Does this feel light? Does it feel right? Or does this feel bad? Is something off about this? Your body will tell you when something doesn't feel right. You have to listen to it. That's you building that intuition, that connection with self. And also build that spiritual connection. Journal, meditate, take walks, do tarot, whatever it is, in order to build that spiritual journey. There are certain things that you know that you need to do. Do them. Sit in quietness. Just go outside and maybe stand in the grass. One thing to understand is that your intuition is your superpower and you have to trust it again. There's no better time than to trust yourself than now. And as you do these things, you become magnetic in love and life. And as you become more magnetic, then there's different steps that you will need to take as you grow. Because trust me, as you're along your healing journey, as you're along this journey of embracing your feminine energy, you're going to become more magnetic in life and love. And what does that look like? And just like your feminine energy, your magnetism is not about a look on the outside, right? It's about an energy that you uphold. That's why it's important to do the inner work, because your inner work develops an energy that is unbreakable, that you will never lose. It might get buried at times, but you'll never lose it. Now that you're building this magnetic feminine energy, how do you cultivate that magnetic energy? How do you cultivate your feminine energy? Number one, you own your energy. Walk with confidence, walk in knowing. Even if you are fighting your confidence, walk in the room as faith it until you make it, right? So walk in that confidence anyway. Because if you watch my last video, fear is not real. It's just keeping you from stepping into the power that you already have. As you are building your confidence and walking in confidence, make eye contact and be graceful in the way that you approach things or approach people. Speak with certainty. Say what you mean without overthinking it or over explaining it. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And this is a big one. Set boundaries unapologetically. A woman who knows her worth, a person who knows their worth, does not beg for love from anyone. And as well, embody joy and self trust. People are drawn to people who radiate self contentment. So I say it's all about an energy. It's never about you knowing everything or having it all together, because this journey called life, we don't all have it together, not even what we consider the best of us. But you know that you have the ability to walk in that energy and that power because of your knowing of yourself. One thing to understand is that your energy speaks for you before you even open your mouth. So make sure that it says, I'm worthy, I'm powerful, and I'm enough. One thing to understand is that your power isn't in being liked. It's not in being someone's favorite. It's in knowing who you are. Because when you know who you are, no one could ever tell you who you are not. So in the comments below, please let me know, what part of your feminine energy are you reclaiming? Are you taking back? Keep in mind that this journey is about you. It's about you loving you, caring for you, and understanding you. You are your most prized possession. And understand that it's not selfish to put yourself in a position to be cared for by yourself. I know a lot of times we don't really know how to deal with us and care for us because we're always giving our energy away. It is time to give you what you need. And as you give you what you need, the overflow of what you have can go to others. But until you have that overflow, you have nothing to give anyone else. And in this moment of rebuilding and reclaiming, you have to make sure that you are number one in your life. I'll see you on the next video.